family. So tonight we're going to be going over the ramifications of what's going on with the bank collapses and the fact that everybody needs to be prepared and ready for what's coming. Um, yeah, we don't want to have hysteria, but we do need to be realistic about what's going on here, and we need to realize what's about to happen in the world. Um, Regardless of anything, there are going to be trickle-down effects from this, plain and simple. There are going to be effects on the American people in big ways from this situation. Um, it's going to be crazy. What's up? How you doing tonight? Just getting some music queued up here. Came on a little early tonight, so we're gonna
Now that's
be going over a
fun
few of the things
together.
I have for getting prepared and getting ready.
Controlling me, I sold my soul and stole the gold from royalty. I'm locked and loaded till the motor overheats. I'll rock the boat and seas I'm not supposed to be. The Holy Ghost is in my broken bones, and heaven only knows what being poked awoken me. The homes of those who tried to slow my roll and throw me through the wolves will turn out burnt and smoldering. I'm filling their coffins with everything that I wanted, and then I'm putting behind me so they will
Just letting a couple people get on here, guys. I came on early tonight, so
got some
good stuff
for
everybody tonight.
I burn a bridge when I cross it. I got $1 in my pocket that I'm saving just in case I get to where I'm headed and I still need change. I feel the ghost of rock and roll take hold of me. An overdose of I don't care what you believe. Come on, I'm Jimmy Page, I'm Kurt Cobain, I'm Rolling Stone, lay guns and roses across my brain. Ashes to ashes, mama.
Okay, I don't know who's on here. It doesn't show me that. It just shows me there's one person that's joined me in the past 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. I don't know why, but my chats haven't been working again. I've turned them on, but nothing's happening. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on with these bank crashes right now that people just aren't talking about for some reason. I don't know if they're getting banned for talking about it, or if I'm going to get kicked off of here for talking about some things that are happening right now. But yeah. Okie doke. I'm not going to talk to myself, so I'll just keep listening to some music. We'll see what happens. Nobody comes on, or McDonald, ashes. Gotta put a flag out there.
It's blood and guts to me, it's mud and rust to me. That type of feeling when you walk destructively. It's thoughts are stuck in me.
I don't know.
Promise
Okay,
luxury. If I
so
said I
you're
trust
on
you,
here
you are
right
dumb for
now.
trusting me. Hate me.
But see, it shows me that there's 0 people on my feed right now. So I don't know that there's somebody on here. So I'm sitting here looking at 0. So I'm just gonna go through and talk about what's going on here. We're gonna do this first, then I'm gonna go through some things that everybody should have for what's coming up right now. By now I know you've already heard about the SVB bank crash. Also Signature Bank also collapsed. The stock market's taken the largest hit that it's taken in forever. PNC Bank is down 68% right now. What people have to understand about SVB is they're an investment banking firm, okay? They're an investment banking. So all the small businesses in that area keep their money in that bank. These companies that we finance our equipment from, Their money is in these banks. Okay. It gets nuts though from here on out. The stock market's crashing over this. More banks are going down right now. We're going to see a systematic shutdown of a lot of banks. Well, let me tell you why the Fed's not bailing them out this time. Because digital currency, digital passport, they told you it was coming, right? They're right in fashion from what they've told us all of this time. This is the step for digital currency, digital passports, to where they can tell you what you can do with your money, they can control your money, they can see everything you do with your money. That's why we have the 87,000 new tax agents, but I think that's been canceled at this point, right? But here's the situation. These banks are focused on ESG, on diversity, equality, inclusivity, and stuff like that. They're hiring based on race and gender exclusivity, or whatever the fuck you want to call this mental retardation we've got going on in the world right now. They didn't have a liability regulator for the bank at all. They didn't even have one. The one got fired, and they hired somebody for another job in a diversity that was supposed to hire that person, and that person never got hired back. That in itself should be a crime. Okay. It's just getting nuts, man. Finances, investments, SVB's biggest partner, guess who that is? Guess who they're partners with? And I have not heard one news organization talk about this. Nobody. Shanghai Pengdao Chinese Communist Party Bank. That's their direct partner for banking partners. It's the Shanghai Bank. they're a communist. They're a communist company that it's nuts. Massey was on an interview with the senator from Arizona, and they're calling on the tech companies once again. They're openly talking about censoring anyone like me that's talking about this right now. They're talking about shutting us down completely. This is the thing that's happening again. They're talking about shutting people down. Everybody knows that the banks collapse. Everybody knows the stock market's messing up. Everybody knows all of that is happening. Okay, but what you don't know is that the next we'll hear from the left is the bank got shut down because we're all racist. We're all racist. That's why the bank got shut down, because they were strictly running off of diversity. Go woke and you go broke. That's what this is. You go woke, you go broke. It's just as simple as that. We've proven it time and time again now. Right before SVB crashed, they gave their employees a bonus check. Before they announced the collapse, they sold $15 to $16 million worth of their debunked company stock right before the collapse. So that should be getting them put in jail, right? They dumped the company before they announced that it's collapsing to their customers that are now screwed. Yes, FDIC might pay some of your money back, but this was not an FDIC insured bank, for one. For two, the federal government said they were going to help. Now they say they're not going to help. No bailout, but they're going to back the people. That is a bailout. You're still using the taxpayers' money. The bank's broke. The bank is done. The federal government has now taken control of these banks, just so you know. The federal government now controls Signature Bank in New York and SVB. So why would they want to take control of a bank that's biggest partner is the Shanghai Pengdao Bank in Communist Party China? One of the biggest Communist Party banks there are in China. Huh. That's a little too convenient for my liking. That's way too convenient for my liking. The fact that they dumped $15 million worth of stock the day before they announced to their customers that this was happening. Half of their customers didn't even know this was happening. Half of their customers are like, well, where the fuck's my money at? Well, you got to understand, when a bank collapses, your money just disappears. Even if it's an FDIC insured bank, it might take weeks to months for you to see any of that money. We're talking payroll companies. People aren't going to get paid. Okay. Investment firms, financial firms might just come a calling on that note you owe. because now they don't have any money in the bank. Yes, but when Jesus coming, he ain't coming with love, baby. He's coming with doom and gloom when he comes down this time. The Bible makes that very clear. It's going to be horrible. And that's what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing right now is an empire collapsing. Do I really think that I'm going to be honored enough, that I'm a honored enough person to be able to see the last days when Jesus actually steps down on this earth? That would be wonderful, because he's coming back with a katana, baby, and he's coming back to cut heads off. He's not coming back to save this time. He already did that once. He's coming back to end it this time. But people got to understand. Okay, so now that I got that stupid bank crap out of the way, that's my politics for tonight, by the way. I'm done with this crap. I'm done with this government. Now we've got an epidemic of gain of function, made in a lab, bird flu, which is 60% deadly, killing thousands and thousands of sills out there right now. So now that's released. That is a real pandemic, by the way. That's something, you bleed from your eyes, you bleed from your nose, your blood comes out of your fucking ears. It's a very horrifying, deadly disease. And it's, we made it transmissible to humans. See the prophets for more, no prophets that are here now. There will be no other prophets after Jesus Christ. Anyway, which gets me into my next thing. We'll go with, you know what? Oh, I love Corinthians. But I also like me some Peter. I like me some 2 Peter. Oh, I like me some 2 Timothy too. Let's do some 2 Timothy. Yes, I like me some. I'm glad that I just turned to this. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. Timothy, my dear son, be strong through the grace that God gives you in Christ Jesus. You have heard me teach things that have been confirmed by many reliable witnesses. Now teach these truths to other trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others. Endure suffering along with me as a good soldier of Christ Jesus. Soldiers don't get tied up in the affairs of civilian life, for then they cannot please the officer who enlisted them. And athletes cannot win the prize unless they follow the rules. And hard-working farmer should be the first to enjoy the fruit of their labor. Think about what I am saying. The Lord will help you understand all these things. Always remember that Jesus Christ, a descendant of King David, was raised from the dead. This is the good news I preach. And because I preach this good news, I am suffering and have been chained like a criminal. But the word of God cannot be chained. So I am willing to endure anything if it will bring salvation and eternal glory in Christ Jesus to those God has chosen. This is a trustworthy saying. If we die with him. We will also live with him. If we endure hardship, we will reign with him. If we deny him, he will deny us. If we are unfaithful, he remains faithful. For he cannot deny who he is. Remind everyone about these things and command them in God's presence to stop fighting over words. Such arguments are useless, and they can ruin those who hear them. That is a good soldier of Christ, is this passage. We'll do one more. And then I'm going to go over some survival things that everybody needs to get ready with. I'm not going to go full on Revelations tonight. We're not there yet. Oh, I like me some Jude. I like me some Jude. The danger of false teachers. Dear friends, I had been eagerly planning to write to you about the salvation we all share, but now I find that I must write about something else, urging you to defend the faith that God has entrusted once for all time to his holy people. I say this because some ungodly people have wormed their way into your churches, saying that God's marvelous grace allows us to live immoral lives. The condemnation of such people was recorded long ago, for they have denied our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ. So I want to remind you, though you already know these things, that Jesus first rescued the nation of Israel from Egypt, but later he destroyed those who did not remain faithful. And I remind you of the angels who did not stay within the limits of authority God gave them, but left the place where they belonged. God has kept them securely chained in prisons of darkness, waiting for the great day of judgment. And don't forget Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm sorry, guys, I'm losing you. Let me finish this up and then I will. Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighboring towns, which were filled with immorality and every kind of sexual perversion, which is what we basically are in right now. We're in Sodom and Gomorrah right now. Those cities were destroyed by fire and by fire and serve as a warning of the eternal fire of God's judgment. I'm having problems seeing tonight, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize for that horrible reading tonight. I'm dumbfounded at what's going on. We're losing our country in a matter of 3 years. Do you understand this? Our country has been destroyed in a matter of 3 years. Oh yeah, we're not going to see Jesus come back in our lifetime. But then again, we have been in turmoil for a long time, but not for thousands of years. I mean, it's going to get horrifying before the demons and the angels start stepping foot on earth again. The men, us, have to destroy ourselves as well first. What is it going to be, like 10% of the earth left or something like that? It comes down to that's actually going back to heaven or something like that. Very few. It says right out, very few. Daniel, read the End of Times and Daniel. That's one of my favorite books in the Bible. Okay, we're going to start off with protection, guys. Everybody needs good protection. Okay? Everybody needs good protection. This is my vest. It's all quick release. 7.62, 308 rated. multiple penetration, 30-06 single penetration. Scorpion Tactical steel core plates inside. Little heavier than most people would like, but it doesn't really bother me. But as you can see, my vest is all dirty and messed up. I use it quite often. I get a lot of work in with this on every day. I get 5 miles a day running with this on, plus the weekends that we do these are our combat clothes. They come with knee pads. They're not in right now. They come with elbow pads. I got my sleeves rolled up. Let's get into, I grabbed a couple things out of storage here so I would have new stuff. So I'm not showing you all my old messed up crap. A good combat belt. It's always nice to have. It says standard AR-15, 2 of them here. 2 nice 9mm 45 pouches here. Nice small med kit. Accessories pouch. This opens up and has a mag dump bag on it. Then you get back to 2 more AR-15 mags. 9mm mags, flashlights, whatever you want to put here. It's got retention on the front. You can bind things here, your tourniquets. You know, you can bind your tourniquets in here. Have a tourniquet on you there at all times. Nice steel buckle on these with a D-ring hanger. I have tested these. I have my personal combat belt from this company. This is a veteran-owned company. Same people that make the clothing I'm wearing right now. For the price compared to Cree or Dry Fire, which you're looking at $800 to $1,000 per set of clothing with them, I've put these through the test. The one I'm wearing right now, I've got 150 to 200 hours in the woods, in the muck, in the grime, through thorn beds, all kinds of stuff. I haven't had any punctures, any rips. I mean, I've got some strings hanging, but I've put it through a lot. Put them through a lot. So that works out. Comes with a nice inner. So the inner goes through your belt loops, and then there's Velcro inside the belt. That way, it's not hopping around while it's on your body when you're running. This is for defense. You know what I'm saying? This is your defense loadout here. Also have, I'll on my live tomorrow night, I'll have some of my good damn, I started reading, forgot what I was talking about there. Oh, some of my good tactical bags. Some of the good rifle bags that we sell. Do I have a holster in here? No, the holster is in the truck. We just got a new shipment of We the People holsters in. We've got them to fit the new P365 micro. You should have some type of fooding. This is a 2,400 calorie bar pack. This one's apple cinnamon. I've got a whole container of MREs out here. One of my brothers makes this stuff, and they own the body armor companies that I use. I get really good direct deals from veteran-owned companies. Schmog, have you a good schmog? Used for many different things. It's always nice to have when you're out and about doing things. This is my main IFAK kit. We'll go through this in a second. I'll show you a couple more of the things. This is not my bug out bag here. This is just a bag I grabbed at the storage shed where all my stock is, and we'll go through this in a second here. Let's see. I have some more belt accessories in here, 9mm pouches, stuff like that. Oh, something that's always nice to have. Two-way D-clips. What's this for, you say? It's for the paracord you use if you have to bug out and tie things up, shelter, stuff like that, depending on what kind of shelters you're going to be doing. Once I start getting more stuff coming in, again, I will be doing survival videos once more. I will be out building shelters and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't buy things out of California, but I use local. The farthest any of my stuff is, oh no, because my ballistic helmets come from my buddy that lives in Arizona. So I do buy some things from, I guess, over that side. But most of my things come from either Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, or North Carolina. Tea tree candles. They come in very handy for many things. Make sure they're non-scented candles, guys. If you're trying to hide out from people, this is a good way. You dig you a hole, you get you a tea tree candle in it, one or two. You can get a metal plate hot enough to cook on with one of these. Okay, in the middle of the night, you're out there, you're bugged out, you're hungry, find you some lizards, whatever, boom, got you some little candles. They're good for a heat source too. If you have an emergency blanket, one of these tea tree candles under an emergency blanket with you will sweat you the freak out. I'm telling you right now, man, it will sweat you out. Speaking of emergency blankets, that's probably what I'm going to grab out of the next pocket that I open up. Basically, something over, under, something you can sleep on, sleep under, and sleep in. Remember that. Sleep on, sleep under, sleep in. Emergency blankets. Come in handy for many different things, by the way. We'll get into that. I have many different types of fire starters. Many different types of little fire starters. This specific one just has a little ferrocerium stick at the bottom with some tinder on it. You strike it like so. See that spark? And it will light that when you spark it the right way. Okay, and that'll stay lit for a long time for you to start a fire with. Works out pretty good. I'd say I found that I get about 100 uses, 200 uses out of one of these if you use it the right way. Some type of compass. Do not cheap out on your survival gear if you can help it. Especially when it comes to blades and compasses. This is one that has, you can map the stars with it, you can read maps with it, all kinds of stuff. It's got all those accessories on it, everything that it needs to have. Okay? Get you a good compass. Don't buy a shitty compass. You can go cheap on some things. You can go cheap on your paracord, you can go cheap on your emergency blankets. An emergency blanket is an emergency blanket. Don't go cheap on your water source, don't go cheap on your navigation. Okay? Please try not to go too cheap on your body armor, even though I do get some of the cheapest body armor there is. And that's just because I don't upcharge my stuff like most people do. I'm just trying to get people safe, and I'll tell you this right now. I appreciate loyalty more than I appreciate money. Some type of hydration pack. Okay, I just like to have some kind of hydration pack that has a pop fizz, so you get a little bit of zing if you're out there and your morale's down and things aren't going well for you. They work out pretty good. These work pretty good. They got calories, all kinds of stuff. I also usually have like a bag of gummy bears, Sour Patch Kids. A lot of people don't realize a pack of sour gummy bears has 410 calories in it. Life straws. Life straws. I carry at least 2 to 3 of these at all times, just because you don't know what you're going to be sucking up, and you don't know if it's going to be gunked up or not. I have never had a problem with one of them before. The only downfall to these is you have to get close to your water source, and if you're in places like Florida, putting your face down in front of the water where there's gators isn't the best idea if they're hungry. But I can also show you how to make a shallow collection well and use one of these as your water filter. So that works out pretty well. So if you're on dry land and you're in a place that's wetlands like Florida or somewhere like that, I will show you how to make a shallow water well. And wherever you're bugged out, you can literally just leave this in there while you're out there hanging out. And you can go over and drink water out of it anytime you want to. And it'll be nice, fresh. First it'll be filtered through the dirt, and then it'll be filtered through this. Done it many times, works out pretty well. what you got to understand is if everything does crash, it's going to take us back to like we were in the 1800s, guys. You do understand. That's what people need to understand. Take this seriously. A good headlamp is always nice. It's a Bushnell headlamp. It's got 4 different modes on it for different things. It's 1252 lumens. If you need more than that, then I'm sorry, you might as well just wait till daytime when the sun's out. Okay, are y'all talking to each other? I mean, since Jesus is God in man form, I guess he would be kind of crucified, right? So he could feel the pain of us, the pain that we felt. I don't know. I don't want to argue with anybody about the Bible, and I don't interpret the Bible. I let God put on my heart what I read in the Bible. That's how I deal with the Bible. Whatever God puts on my heart and tells me his word means is what I take to heart. Not really what people tell me the Bible means. That's why when I talk about Jesus or God, I read it straight from the Bible. I don't interpret the word and pass it on to you in my words. As a man, as a sinner, as someone that tries to be a good moral person, but I'm still a human. I have PTSD, ADHD. So, yeah, plus I have a traumatic brain injury, for those of you that know. Good multi-tool. Don't cheap out on your multi-tool when you can either get I've got a Bushmaster. I also have a Leatherman somewhere. But they have a multitude of different things inside of them when you have them. My Leatherman has a spoon and a fork on it. I have this one because it has a multitude of different tools. Please, if you don't have a firearm, I never thought I'd say this, whether you're a felon or not, at least have one somewhere where you can, if you have to bug out and the world collapses, you can defend yourself. Because if you're in a city, especially if you're in a city, because that's where it's going to be the worst. Blades, have you some kind of decent tactical blade? Something, please do not cheap out on your blades. Please do not cheap out on your blades. You will know what I'm talking about when you use a shitty blade 2 times and it doesn't even cut a piece of rope anymore. Okay? Don't cheap out on your blades. Learn how to sharpen your blade properly. Learn how to use your blades properly. I'll be putting up some videos here shortly. Now that I'm back up, we'll go through first on the front of this IFAK, which is an individual first aid kit. I have 1-arm tourniquet. I also have a 1-arm tourniquet that goes in this little sleeve that's on here as well. That's what this little open sleeve that just goes straight through is for. I have a 1-arm tourniquet that goes in here. Vent claps due to what? Vent claps is due to diversity. I don't know what your UC is, but it has to do with hiring people based off their skin color and their transition status, and not hiring them for the content of their character and qualifications. Okay, I have a few different things in my IFAK kit than other people do. I keep sterile gloves. I have a little more medical training than a lot of other people do. So, keep medical gloves because it's a requirement. You're in the woods, you're dirty, somebody's got an open wound, you just want to have some gloves on. Some sterile gloves. Okay? Chest compression needles. There is a syringe that comes with these, by the way, that can hook up to the end of this, and you can suck blood out of a chest cavity. Okay? So, I would suggest getting that with it. I do have a plunger that goes with mine. The plunger is massive, so it does not stay in here. It is actually in my little kit that's on my combat belt. Little roll of gauze, just because gauze is always good for something. I also have a boo-boo kit, and we're going to go through my boo-boo kit too. My boo-boo kit and my IFAK kit are two different things. My little kit on my belt and this are two different things. This is directly on me at all times, on my bag, on my body armor, whatever. That way it can be ripped off quick. It's got the quick disconnect tabs on it. That's half a roll of duct tape. That's what duct tape reduces down to when you take it off that big-ass roll. Duct tape. Always nice to have for something. You down on morale? You feeling shitty? Your brother passed out on you? You don't want to carry his fat ass up on your shoulders? Have to do a ranger roll and carry that son of a bitch 500 yards? Smelling salts. I'm telling you right now, you've been marching for days and you're about to pass the fuck out and you got people around you that are trying to loot, riot, maraud. You take you a hit off of that, buddy. You'd be Superman for a good little bit there. Give you some adrenaline, let you run, get where you need to go. We'll get over here to the stuff on this side. You notice how everything's got its spot? Listen, you don't want someone to open your... If somebody has to work on you with your IFAK kit, because you should have an IFAK kit for yourself, and like I said, I have my IFAK kit on my belt. This is from a buddy, or if somebody I come across. My personal IFAK kit doesn't fix you or somebody else. Your personal IFAK kit is for you. The things in it are for you. I also have one that's identical to this that goes on my other stuff. So, this is to save your life if you almost die. First off, you need good surgical scissors. Cutting this shit off of somebody sucks with a regular pair of scissors. These are made for cutting cloth. The big ones can cut leather. The little ones can cut cloth. I have a bottle of iodine in that bag as well that I didn't pull out, that I keep for cleansing wounds. Little thing of Neosporin just because people like to talk about clotting powder for when you get a chest wound or something like that. You've never had a major injury, clotting powder just pours right out of you. If you're bleeding bad enough, it just pours right out, doesn't work with the shit. Don't waste your money on clotting powder. Instead, get a chest vent seal. Okay. I don't want to open that up because it's in its waterproof, inside its waterproof thing, but there's a twin pack here. There's two of them. It is a chest seal kit. This will keep you alive and able to breathe if you have a gaping hole in your chest. This will stop you from sucking air into your body. Okay? Learn how to use this stuff. Learn what you're doing. Get courses. I also have clotting gauze. Clotting powder doesn't work. You can shove this in the hole and it's good stuff. If you have to remove a bullet, you don't just want to stick your finger in the hole, guys. So you get yourself a good pair of hemosteps. Preferably ones that are more pointy and have the ridges, not the flat ones for holding a freaking joint, not roach clips. These aren't roach clips. Okay, these are surgical hemosteps. Okay, if you have to stent an artery, they self-lock. So, requirement, if you're going to do any type of medical, you got to get the bullet out before you can tap the wound off. Do you understand? You got to get the bullet out. If it's hit an artery, you can stent the artery with this. Okay? You can do life-saving techniques until you can get to somebody that knows exactly what they're doing. I also have a thing, 2 Ziploc baggies full of maxi pads and tampons. Hey, when you're in a shitty situation, sometimes you got to do shitty things, right? You'd be surprised that, well, ladies out there, you wouldn't be surprised at how well a tampon stops bleeding. And closes a wound because it swells and it seals that wound up. Works actually pretty well. Is it the most sterile thing to use? No. Can it stop you from bleeding out? Absolutely. Worry about the fucking gangrene and septic later. Okay? Actually, worry about it now. That's why you always cleanse the wound first. Nasal physogeric tubes. Remember, these come in different sizes. I have several different sizes in here. I have a whole case of these somewhere. More pads, some type of burn dressing. Never know what's going to happen. Some type of burn dressing. I'll get on to my boo-boo kits. These are just a couple things that I have at all times on my around me. At all times. These are in my truck. This similar setup is in my truck. I also have my go bag that has my over on, sleep on, under, and in my truck at all times. So, get a firearm. Learn proper firearm safety. When you go to a firearms class, it is not so you can learn how to shoot your gun and keep your trigger off of the gun. It's so you can learn how to fix your firearm if there is a problem, if there is a jam, or if your slide locks back, or if something goes wrong and your gun just doesn't fire anymore. So you can quickly and efficiently fix that in the field and get on with what you're doing. Get some kind of training in that. Oh, my hemostep's locked sideways in here. Damn it. I'll be going through more and more stuff. I don't want to try to get everything out there in a day. I'm going to be posting lists of things. Bank collapse due to usury. I'm assuming you're laughing. I guess you misspelled. You meant to say diversity, and it came out like that. And some people give me some comments on here. Are you having problems with the internet over the past week and cell phone service and stuff like that? Does it seem like the internet's not really working worth a shit at all? It takes a long time to load things at certain parts of the day. Almost like things are being slowly, systematically shut down. I'm just wondering if anybody else is having these problems or if it's just Xfinity customers, because where I'm at, it's a huge problem with Xfinity customers right now. The Wi-Fi is sucking, everything's just sucking, man. Can't find half the people you want to find anymore. The fact that Massey was talking with the Arizona senator and it got posted, the conversation, and he's outright talking about censoring people that are talking about the bank collapse that I talked about earlier. I think the biggest news of all of this is the first bank to collapse was also a bank that's direct partner is the Chinese Communist Party, the Shanghai Pudong Bank. I think that's a pretty big deal, personally. I also think it's a pretty big deal that people are going to have to wait weeks to months to even see their money now. A lot of people don't even know this happened yet. Do you understand that? There's the regular, normal people in the world that aren't woke up to what's happening don't even know this has happened. There was a line in front of SVB Bank all weekend. You're not getting your money, guys. Sorry, it's gone. That's what they're telling people. Sorry, your money just gone. Half of these people are never going to see their money again. This administration can't decide whether they're going to bail the bank out or not. They've made it a definite they're not going to bail the bank out. But they said that people would have access to their deposit. Well, the money's gone in the fucking bank. The federal government now owns the bank. That's what you're not understanding. The federal government now owns these two banks. That's what happens when a bank collapses. They owe the money to us. That's our money. So the government now has control of the bank. So this is their, like I said, this is their digital currency, their digital passport that's coming along. So, guys, I need people to share like crazy every time I try to put a message out here so we can get donations, so we can have a place, so we have food. I will work it. I will do all of that. That's what I do, okay? We can get better content out there too, as well. Dollar prints. I don't have any dollar prints right now, but I do have $5 prints. I don't know any of my dollar prints, but let's see. Our new decals that I made last night. Jesus Saves. I just have to film it. Another Jesus Saves. Trump 24. Got my new Faith Over Fear line. I have a couple I still have to cut. I've done the stencil on it already. I just have to cut it. I don't use a machine for this stuff, guys. I cut this. That's why my A looks like that. But yeah. I've got some shirts, some Faith Over Fear shirts coming out. Trump 24 shirts. I've got Jesus Saves shirts coming out. Jesus Saves Trump 24. Jesus Saves Faith Over Fear. Stacked on top of each other, front and back. I got all kinds of new decals and prints coming out. Once I start getting some things going, what I'll do is every time someone makes, what's up, buddy? What's up, Clint? All you like to do is argue with people, bud. Look, I own 2 Liberty taxes, and I did taxes for a living for 9 freaking years. I know a lot about the banking system, bud. A lot about the banking system. And everything I'm saying right now is what every financial institution is saying on the news. Verbatim is what I'm saying is what they're saying. So, I think you might not know something about the banking system. Okay? I think you might not know something about the banking system. And I think you also might not know that SVB was the 16th largest investment banking firm on the planet. Okay? They invested in all these tech companies that have been... when's the last time you were in banking? Because for the past 9 years now, banking has gone super woke and it's only worried about diversity. The stock market dropped more than it ever has today. Do you understand that? For banking. PNC is down 68%. Do you understand that PNC owns half of the ATMs in your town? They have partner companies that are allowed to use those ATMs. Those are PNC's ATMs. They own them. That's their technology. Okay? There are private ATMs. There's a whole long thing you have to go through to get your own privatized ATM, though. The majority of banks at places like Wawa, or ATMs at places like Wawa, do you understand that 68% of PNC stockholders dropped the company today? Do you understand that overall, every bank in the United States, other than 4, dropped from 68 to 34% of their stockholders today? Do you understand that? Do you understand that twice in a month, Wells Fargo has come up missing? Do you understand that in order for a bank to get money back, they don't have, you understand money doesn't exist, right? It's literally a text file. Okay, that's all your bank is. It's a text file. It's not a WinZip file. It's not a JPEG file. It's literally a fucking text file. They put a 0 or a 1, and that's the only thing that makes the difference in how much money you have in the bank. That's it. A 0, a dot, and a 0. That's all your bank account is. There is no cash that the banks have. That's all backed by the Federal Reserve when you have an FDIC bank. Okay? The SVB is not an FDIC fucking bank. They are not FDIC insured. So, if you don't understand how that works, now the government has to back that money or everybody's just out that money. FDIC only covers up to $250,000 per company. For companies that are worth $2 to $5 million, you also understand that, right? In order for you to recoup your money as a small business that has a $5 million capital, you have to have 5 to 7 bank accounts so you get $250,000 per bank. Do you understand that these people have 1,000 employees and all they're going to get back is $250,000 under an FDIC repayment? Do you understand how that works? And I can go through the whole fractional banking system with you right now, if you'd like to, Clint. tell me I don't know how things work. Just because I seem stupid sometimes or I act stupid sometimes, motherfucker, don't mean I'm stupid. Up until I got canceled, I was making $250,000 a year working in the stock market and doing Bitcoin. Oh. Which reminds me, guys, which reminds me, if you haven't invested in Bitcoin this week, do it now. Do it now. It rose 287% yesterday. Bitcoin, boom! Anyone that had Bitcoin last month, I'd be selling it right now. You're gonna make a shit ton of fucking money. 286% that shit went up, bro. That's nuts. But of course it did. It's not, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn everything to digital currency right now, is what they're trying to do. I am passionate about what I believe. I love my country. Pro-life, pro-God, pro-gun, pro-Trump. I don't like politicians. I don't like people that say one thing and do another, which is what I have right now going on in the state of Florida. It's just nuts, you know. If you're not loyal to the citizens in one way, you're never going to be loyal to the citizens. Do you understand that? Ron DeSantis said he would run his full term as governor. He lied to everyone in Florida. He lied. Not only has he signed horrible red flag laws and refused to sign constitutional carry, only permitless carry, not only has it made it legal for illegal immigrants to get identification here, well, what goes to die? My ass. My ass. Transgender bathrooms popping up in all of our stores, homeless people taking over stuff. You got to understand, guys, we are in a spiritual war and we are in a physical war at this point. People are being assassinated. Jane Fonda went on live TV and said, anyone that talks about what we're talking about right now should be murdered. A very prominent activist that these left lunatics listen to went on live TV and said we should be murdered. 27 white people were murdered by black people in the past 2 weeks and nobody's talking about it because of the color of their skin. Nobody's talking about it. We're at war. Most people are just living blind to it though. Most people, you understand, if the world collapses within a year, there's only going to be 10% of the population left, right? And the majority of you cannot survive in an 1800s type. I'm not saying this is the apocalypse. I'm not saying it's going to go down like this. What are you talking about? There was a small section of the wall left that wasn't built. He tried his damnedest to build the wall. They stopped him. They went, people like you can get off of here. You have no loyalty to anybody. Go away. You're one of those people that aren't going to make it through this because you're not loyal. There's no loyalty. I'm a loyalist. I believe in loyalty, man. That's my biggest pet peeve. Like I said, I prefer to have your loyalty than your money any day of the week. I prefer to have your bodies and your loyalty over your monetary value any day of the week. Anyone that, with the amount of things the man got done, and he was attacked more than any sitting president in the history of time, and he's still got more done than any sitting president, and you're going to bitch about the wall that he couldn't finish because they didn't allow him, because they indicted him over the fucking wall? Do you not remember that? He spent a year and a half of his presidency in court over that fucking wall? They tried to put him in prison for that wall because he was a racist and a terrorist? Come on, bro. Oh, JC, you just don't know what you're talking about, bro. Because here's the thing. Ron DeSantis' biggest backers are AT&T, Walmart, and fucking Disney. You know how much money he's making by going after Disney the way he's doing it right now? That goes to the governorial pot. That doesn't go to us. What have you gotten in the state of Florida out of Ron DeSantis? Tell me. Tell me what you've gotten. 27 murders in Orlando in the past 2 weeks? That's what you've gotten? One of the wokest cities in the state of Florida that you live in? That's what you've gotten? Come on, bro. Let's be honest. Tell me what Ron DeSantis has done. Parental rights in education stops the teachers from talking to the kids inside the classroom. That's it. Step in the hallway, they can groom them all they want. We pulled... The only reason DeSantis is in office is because of Trump. That's it. There's no other reason. Nobody else wanted him in office. He was a congressman for 2 years that did nothing. They got nothing done except find ways to send a lot of money to Iran and other fucking countries while he was doing it. Never once tried to push a any type of constitutional legislation since he's been in office. He hasn't signed one executive order to help the people here. Nothing. None of that shit he said he was going to do has he done. He hasn't fined any schools. He didn't fine any of the hospitals that masked. He didn't fine any of the vaxxers. He backed down on every fucking single bit of it. All of it. He backed down on every single bit of it. I was his biggest backer. Fuck, I had two 20-foot signs on the side of my work trailer. I ran campaigns for the man. I got hundreds of thousands of votes for him here in Florida. We voted for him in a landslide. He promised us he was going to stay in the state. He promised us constitutional carry. He promised us First Amendment protections. And then when he signed the Section 230 bill, he personally wrote for the politicians only in it. So only the politicians can sue big tech. Fuck the people. I don't agree with politicians like that. That's a fucking rhino. All the rhinos that you don't want in office right now back Ron DeSantis. None of the America First politicians back Ron DeSantis. AT&T, Walmart, China, fucking Disney. You can look this up. I've posted it. You can go on my site. You don't even have to go look it up online. I've posted the actual documents on here. His biggest backers, all that money he got were from corporate interests. You understand that, right? That wasn't from the citizens. All that money he got was from corporate interests. So basically you're a hypocrite then, because everything you say you don't like about the rhinos and the Democrats, you'll accept when your feelings are hurt and your butt hurt. I just think you're a fucking coward and a pussy if you think that Donald Trump is fucking toxic. You're a fucking coward, and you might as well put a pussy between your legs, bro. Because this is America, motherfucker. We're warriors. Let me tell you that right now. We're warriors in this country. Okay? Plain and simple. So did DeSantis. DeSantis locked us down for 90 fucking days. He mandated fucking vaccines. Donald Trump never mandated anything. We had mandated vaccines in our state, and still to this day, nothing's been done to it. There's been no legislation stopping vaccines from being mandated in our state. They've talked about it, but they never did it. Donald Trump did his best to get us a safe and effective vaccine. It didn't end up working out that way. But you know what? You can blame him for whatever you want. Record low unemployment. The best America we've had in fucking decades. Okay? You can say whatever you want. Record peace. Lindsey Graham's a piece of shit. I don't care. Lindsey Graham's a piece of shit. Lindsey Graham will back whoever. Who cares who backs who? You know why Donald Trump backed Kevin McCarthy? Which Kevin McCarthy's fucking going boss for us right now. You got to admit that. He's based as a motherfucker right now. He's pulling all kinds of shit out of his ass for us. You know what else he did? So, who gives a fuck? Who cares? He's also not, who gives a fuck? I don't care if Trump avoided the draft in 1976 for a war that we shouldn't have fucking been in ever in the history of time. A war that we were lied about to go to. I don't give a fuck if he avoided the draft, whatever. If we get drafted from China or Russia, I'm not doing that shit, motherfucker. I'm not fighting a war that has nothing to do with me and we shouldn't be in. I'm not gonna fucking do that. Shit, what are you talking about? He dodged the draft. That's the best you can come up with? Come on, bro. You know how many people, he's helped more people than any politician ever has in this fucking country as a United States citizen before he was the president. I can promise you that. He's helped more black people in this country than anyone has. I can tell you that. He's given more loans to African Americans and black Americans than most regular citizens have. I can tell you that. He's created more opportunity and more jobs as a regular citizen than anyone else has. I can tell you that. Before he became the president, since the 1980s, every single person that's talking shit about him now wanted him to be the fucking president. I can tell you that. He's going to bring public executions back for pedophiles. I can tell you that. That's fucking wonderful, bro. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Man, look. The man had never been in politics in his life. He came in and he got more done in 4 years. Imagine how savage that Are you watching his rallies? This is a different Trump than it was before. This motherfucker's serious this time. He wasn't serious last time. He wasn't serious at all. Now he's serious. Now he knows who the assholes are. Now he knows what to fucking do. That was the plan all along. You people know nothing about strategy if you think people can go in and get something done with no experience whatsoever and get it all done in one term. You have no reality in your mind whatsoever. You live in a fucking cartoon, okay? This is strategy, okay? It's 4D freaking chess. He's fighting the biggest criminals on the planet that also just happen to be the most powerful people in the world. They can have your entire families killed and not get in trouble for it. Can outright hang you from a tree and shoot you in the chest with no gun around and make you think you committed suicide. That's the kind of people that we're dealing with here. Listen, I don't care what you say. You'll never turn me away from Donald Trump from some kind of wussy ass. DeSantis didn't fight in combat. He was a lawyer. He was a lawyer for the Navy. He was a legal advisor for the Navy SEALs. DeSantis has never seen any combat. He's been to combat zones, but he's not a fighter. He was in the fucking Navy, bro. He was a lawyer. He was a JAG officer. He was never a Navy SEAL. He was never in combat. You want to vote for a good politician that was in combat, that's a wounded warrior? Greg Steube. That's who you vote for. If you want someone that's tried to push constitutional carry and stand up for our Second Amendment and our constitutional rights in the state of Florida, Greg Steube. Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, hand down. I would love to have Matt Gaetz as the governor here. Shit, are you kidding me? I would kill to have Matt Gaetz as the governor here. If Ron DeSantis fought half as hard as Matt Gaetz does for us out there, when Matt Gaetz is in a position where they can't really get anything done because they don't have the Senate, they just have Congress, and that doesn't really do a fucking thing for you. But if he were the governor here, he would be pushing the way he's pushing in Congress right now, and our state would be completely different than it is. We would not have 27 murders in one weekend of white people being killed by black people because of the color of their skin. We would not be pulling... Listen, we sent these books to Ron DeSantis 2 years ago that he just now went on his campaign trail to talk about the pedophile books. Are you fucking kidding me? That was the front page of the paper in Manatee County 3 months ago, and he's just now talking about it the same day he decides to run for fucking president. That's a politician, bro. That's a politician. He's getting out here and starting to do this stuff now because it's the 2024 election. He ain't done a fucking thing the whole time he's been here, except pass bills that do nothing and enforce red flag laws and unilaterally give law enforcement more power than any state has. You know what the top headlines in all the red states are? We will not place these policies that Ron DeSantis has. When they talk about placing red flag laws in other red states, they use Florida as an example of why red flag laws suck. 142 veterans arrested and had their gun rights taken away last year. 142 combat wounded veterans arrested simply because an asshole called and said they were an endangerment to themselves. That's what red flag laws are. Somebody can get mad at you, call, and say that you're an endangerment to yourself. They'll send the FBI or the cops with a mental evaluation specialist right there to your house, and they will take you to jail for 30 days with no due process. This is what a red flag law is in the state of Florida. This is what it states in the state of Florida. They can take you to jail for 30 days with no due process. They can take your guns for a year, and they can re-extend that to another year after that if they decide their investigation isn't ready. That's fucking awesome, right? That's awesome. I haven't come across one case yet where they've actually had to go through court to get the warrant. They just call the judge and say, we need a warrant, this person's an endangerment, boom, and they go and they take their shit. Now, have some criminals been arrested for this? Yes, they have. But it overwhelmingly, when you add the anti-riot law, which is set against more patriots than it is BLM, by the way, verbatim, it has us in it. It doesn't say BLM or Antifa or any of them. That was supposed to be the bill to stop BLM, right? And Antifa. Well, it don't do much to them, but it does a lot to a God-fearing, gun-toting patriot of the United States. So, get your facts right and look up what's actually going on. All the legislation I'm talking about, by the way, is posted somewhere on this channel. I don't talk about stuff unless I put the receipts out here. Okay, so somewhere on this channel, you can go through and scroll and find all of these receipts. I just posted, oh, you need to check out Bill HR 1333, baby. That's going to be the scariest shit you've ever read. That's about to get signed here in Florida. They're also just proposed, let me tell you how liberal our state is. They just proposed the bill. I'll post it. I got the front page of the paper. It was in the paper this morning. I'll have to look and see if it's passed yet, but there's a bill that's going to make people like what I'm doing right now and bloggers register their blogs and their YouTube channels and all of their social media with the state of Florida. What the fuck? That's flat out communism, bro. They're going to make you register with the state of Florida so they can regulate your shit. That sounds like a free state where fucking woke goes to die, doesn't it? Where they're gonna regulate your fucking, what? I thought we were a Republican state, guys. I thought we were a free state. Okay, now that I went on that rant for you, give you some facts. Listen, JC, I'm still waiting for you to give me one fact. You've never given me a reason why you want DeSantis. You've never backed up anything he's done. Has he passed some bills? Has he signed some bills? Yes. Did he write half of the bills that got signed? No. No. It's not him writing them. It's not him proposing them. He's just signing them. That's it. So, I mean, Greg Abbott passes shit all the time. Look at Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act, where the federal government and the state can no longer coincide with each other to come take your God-given constitutional rights. That's boss, bro. That's the most boss Second Amendment legislation. In case you don't know what the Second Amendment Preservation Act is, guys, it's when the federal government comes and tries to screw with you, the state authorities are no longer allowed to assist them. So the state and the government are separated like they're supposed to be in a constitutional republic. So that's wonderful. As a matter of fact, now the state government can assist you when the federal government comes after your stuff. That's wonderful, bro. That's freedom. That's freedom, where you don't have to fear your local tyrants because they don't have woke policies, and you can just live your life in the state that you live in, where you don't have to have cops entering your building without a warrant and drawing guns on you specifically because of your beliefs and the color of your skin. Listen, we're literally reverse Jim Crow. That's all it is. We're the black people now and the brown people. I am a brown person. That's the funny thing. I'm an Indian, bro. I'm a Native American. And you people call me a racist. I'm like, didn't you come to my country and take everything, motherfucker? You know? I am 50% Seminole Indian. I just filled out some paperwork. I just found out I can get money for being a Seminole Indian. It's going to take a long time, I found out. Though it takes like 6-9 months or something like that. But if we're still here in 6 or 9 months and we still have money in America, then I will get that money every quarter, I guess. My people are pretty much extinct, though. There's very few of us left. But we're from where I live. I live in the town where my people are indigenous to. Okay? And from here all the way up to Tampa and around, we were actually kept as slaves and slaughtered on islands out here in Florida. They would keep us on the islands so they can keep us. We were the tribe that never gave up, though. We were a tribe of warriors that never stopped fighting. So, and then the other half of me is Irish. I got two really pissed off bloodlines in me, right? Because the other half of my ancestors were sent into mines as children to die here in America. Every race has been slaves. Stop pulling the race card, guys. There's not a race of human being on the planet that hasn't been a slave. That's how most white people got to America. You understand that, right? They were indentured slaves brought over here from other places. Nobody's from America except for my people. People like my people. Okay? So let's get that straight. This isn't a melting pot. This is just a place where people come. And we don't have enough room for everybody. So that's why we need border security. We don't have enough room. Look at what's happening right now. You don't think this collapse has anything to do with the fact that you see every illegal immigrant on the planet riding around in $100,000 cars right now, and they don't even have a legal identification? You don't think that has to do with anything? The fact that they all just got 100% investments with zero interest from the banks, and they're driving around in all brand new shit. I just posted the video yesterday where I didn't know I was next door this brand new food truck over here. They're all illegal immigrants. They don't even have identification. How do you have a big, expensive, brand fucking new business, and all of them have Texas tags on their vehicles, every one of them? Or they're riding fucking bicycles down the road. You know what I mean? They come here, they're here for a week on a bicycle, and then all of a sudden they've got all brand new shit. Now, granted, 100 of them live in the same house, and that's not an exaggeration. I posted the video last week of all those dudes that live in the same house together. But they're under federal jurisdiction. So unless they're caught committing a crime in the state of Florida, there's laws here that do not allow our law enforcement officers to go after immigrants. You can also look it up, the non-immigrant driver's license law that Ron DeSantis allowed to be passed here, where there's a loophole to where all they have to do is take that, what's it called? The digital ID that they get from Texas, or the digital ID they get from Colorado or California or one of those states, they come down here, they get a job with it. Okay? They get a copy of the W-2 that they sign. That bypasses their social security card to prove that they're an American citizen now in the state of Florida under the non-immigrant driver's license law. So they can get legal. I showed you the legal, the new Florida registration tag on one of their vans the other day, and I asked them right there on the video. I said, they're deporting, or they arrested one of the kids in the thing. That's the only reason I found out they were illegal immigrants. I won't eat there anymore. Obviously, you can't be paying taxes. You can't have a business license. If I'm out here doing this on the side of the road, see, they get arrested and they don't care because they just get released. We get arrested, we don't get released as American citizens. What a double standard, huh? What a double standard. So if you're a federal fugitive that's coming from a savage country that doesn't know how to live in a civilized country, and you're pissing on people's sidewalks, shitting on their streets, fucking stealing their water, you know, you go to jail and you get right out, you come back out, you go to the bank, you get a diversity loan because you're not white, and they'll give you all the money you want. You go in, you're like, hey, I need a loan. They're like, well, what do you need a loan for? Well, I have this very diverse company that I want to get started up. You push diversity? Absolutely. Here's $5 million. You know, that's literally what these banks like SVB have been doing. They've been giving money strictly based off of the diversity of the color of your skin, or the proclivity of who you want to sleep with, or whether you think you're a man or a magical werewolf, or you have a mental disability. Walk into a bank right now and say, I have a mental disability and I'm going to cut my penis off, and they'll give you $1 million. Walk into a bank right now and say, I have $1 million idea that can help change the world and bring our economy back. Nada. You won't get shit. Okay? So what we have to do as American citizens, as sinners and followers of Christ, as the best people we can try to be, when you're being attacked on a daily basis by pure evil, people that want to hurt children, people that flat out say, dude, listen, the last thing you're ever going to do, by the way, is get in my face and talk shit about Jesus. I'll take your head off and I'll go to hell for it. Because that enrages me. I get so mad. I scream at my TV when I hear people talk bad about Jesus. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You must hate evil to love the Lord. Read Daniel. You must read Peter. You must hate evil, because if you don't hate evil, you don't follow the Lord. Okay? And I do not like what's going on in the world right now. Is it anything that I can personally change by myself? No. But, as I've said before, if you want to stand up and you want to make a noise so big that we can take our country back without having to be violent, by helping each other, by getting together and collating with each other and allowing our people to know this is how we feel, because that's the problem we have, is the left will get out here and they'll make a noise so loud literally the whole world hears it and they see it, and the right doesn't unite. Instead, we're the great divide. We are the great dividers. You understand that, right? I'm a 3%er. Okay, I'm a constitutionalist. I wouldn't even consider myself to be on the right any longer. Okay, I believe we need to make America great again. That's it. We need to bring God back to our country. That would solve everything. You know, have you ever noticed if you just take a whole week out and you just go to church all the time and you talk to people that are religious, your mind starts to revolve around that. Your life starts to revolve around that, and things start to go really good. And then you get back out here and you get in the world and you start listening to that stuff and you start hearing it, and your mind starts to focus on that, and it pulls you farther away from God. Okay, at least the main thing that's on my mind all the time, if I do, every time I'm sitting here and I'm saying a cuss word, I can hear it. In case you don't know and you've never been on my channel, I have a traumatic brain injury. I literally can't stop myself from saying things. I just say whatever comes to mind, okay? So if you have a problem with that, it sucks for you because I can't do anything about it. But a big scar across the side of my brain. And people say they don't have a filter. I literally don't. I constantly have a headache 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never goes away. There's nothing I can take to make it go away. There's nothing that works to make it go away. So there's a little explanation about why I flip-flop from not cussing to cussing sometimes. I can't not do it. I pray every day and I beg the Lord to help me stop doing it, to heal what's going on in my mind. But I get that I also live in sin. And they say if you just have a mustard seed, you can move mountains. But what you have to understand is you can't have any doubt. If you truly want to heal people and lay hands on people, that's why we live in the world of sin. That's why the devil was given dominion over the earth. That's why we have to ask forgiveness every day, because there's no possible way to not have some shred of doubt sometimes. You might always turn back to the Lord, and that's what he wants. But you're a human being. You're going to have bad thoughts. You're going to be a human. We're not covered in the light like Adam and Eve were anymore. We're not in the presence of God speaking face to face with him any longer. That's why we were tossed out of the garden. And now we have to work our way back to the tree, right? He hung on that tree for us. You understand that, right? All the pain of everything that you've ever felt in your life and everything you've ever done to anyone or can even think about doing, he felt that times every person that ever existed or is going to exist in the history of time. For you, for me, for us, for all of us. So like I've said many times, I don't care if you're right, left, purple, green, red, yellow. I don't care. If I see someone on the side of the road beating the shit out of you, I'm going to stop and I'm going to help you. Okay? None of you are my enemies. You misguided children out here that have been brainwashed and have no clue what you're doing right now. You're not my enemy. I pray for you. If you attack me, I'm a David, a Samuel, and a Joshua. I'm going to fight. Okay? I will fight for the Lord. You have to understand also, there's apostles, there's warriors, there's all different types of callings to the Lord and Jesus Christ. I'm not a preacher because of my mental medical problem. I'm not a preacher. Will I sit and I talk about God all day? Will I argue with you about Jesus or God? No. Because there's nothing to argue about. There's no interpretation to the Bible, just so you understand. The Bible is what it is. That's it. That's it. Okay? Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Period. That's it. Anything you need to know about life or what's going on right now, it's in the Bible. A lot of people read the Bible and think about biblical times. The majority of the Bible are prophecies of now. The majority of the Bible are prophecies for now, and you need to be able to look at that and have God guide you and show you when it's time for you to know that that's what's going on. I say we're in 2 Timothy right now. I say we're in 2 Timothy. A lot of things attribute to 2 Timothy. Read the book of Daniel over again if you haven't read the book of Daniel, guys. The actual prophecies for the end of times is in the book of Daniel. Hosea is a good book as well. 2 Peter, John, Mark, All the New Testament's good, obviously. It's a story of Jesus. Try to read it in the subtext of not, I don't know. A lot of people think the Bible's boring. But if you look at it in the non-coward way that a lot of preachers have preached the Bible to you, that the Bible's all love and this and that, and there's no hate in the Bible, are you freaking kidding me? Some of the first parts of the Bible says, I am an angry, vengeful, loving God. Okay? So, the Bible's not all good. It's a lot of bad. And God commanded people to slaughter a lot of people in the name of God. In case you don't understand that. But like the book of Joshua, you need to read through like those types of books in a cinematic story type of way of looking at it. The names that you have to read through at the beginning of each page are what get most people. It's what gets me. I can't remember all those names. Hell, I can't pronounce most of the names. You know? I don't speak Hebrew, and that's what those names are translated from. So I don't pronounce those names well. So that's what always got me. I didn't read my Bible all the time. My dad was a preacher. I didn't read my Bible all the time. I was a preacher's kid, so I rebelled against that path for a long time, you know. Watched my mom die in front of me. She had a massive coronary heart attack in my arms. After 4.5 years of going through horrible cancer, she died in front of me. My brother got killed in front of me 4 months after that. So, I understand a little bit about pain and sorrow. My father died in front of me as well. So, I understand a little bit about pain and sorrow. I've spent 16 months in the hospital bleeding out before. We can't let our past define who we are now. Because the America we knew 5 years ago no longer exists. We're officially in the, we completely skipped socialism. We're going straight into communism at this point. This is the United States Communist Party. And as American citizens, I'll put my name on it. As I've said many times, I'll put my name on it. I don't fear you, government. I don't fear you, FBI. I don't fear you, DOJ. You know this. You've raided me so many more times than I can count. You've screwed with me more times than I can count. You won't catch me slipping up. You won't catch me breaking the law. But I will put my name on every single thing, and I will take the repercussions to stand up for you guys. If you want to join me, and you want to get involved, you want to learn how to grow food, you want to learn how to slaughter your own meat, you want to learn how to do tactical courses, you want to learn how to bug out and survive for days at a time, I'm here. I'm here. I'll do what I can. I don't care how much monetary stuff I lose. I don't care if I have to sacrifice my soul. If I can save 99 and be the one that has to have a different place to go, then I guess that's what's going to happen. Okay, because there are people that are going to have to sacrifice their way just simply so they can save other people. And everybody needs to understand that. This is going to get bad. When people can't get food, they freak out. Do you understand that? When people are thirsty, they freak out. When they have no way to get this stuff because banks are collapsing and trains are derailing and water sources are no good anymore. And the problem is one or two of these problems that we're having in America right now just on its face, no big deal. Stuff happens all the time. But when you put all of this stuff together in a 3-year span, and you see how all of it correlates with each other way too perfectly to be coincidence, then you're like, oh, maybe I need to worry about this just a little bit. So being prepared is never bad. Okay, just being prepared is never bad. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're just buying tactical stuff, and it's sitting in your closet and you're not using it, you're going to die. When it comes down to time to use it, you're going to die. You're not going to make it. Because if you've never worn this type of clothing, if you're going to be wearing regular clothing and bugging out, you're going to be, man, you're going to be in pain. You're going to be sucking, bro. Because you're not going to be bugged out in a pair of blue jeans for a very long amount of time before you start to get like wrinkled skin, your skin busting open and stuff like that. These pants are specifically made for water to not stick to your body and stuff like that, so you don't get trench foot, you don't get... Listen, if you've never had your feet messed up from wearing a pair of boots for so long that you don't even know what it feels like to not have your boots on anymore, then you need to get out here and start marching. You need to get out here and start jogging. I'm going to start putting some courses on here. As you know, though, this is the only camera source I have at the moment. I've lost more than I could ever get back in this time period. But I am willing to trade and barter with people, just so you know. I'm willing to trade and barter. Everybody's going through a rough time right now. Everybody's having hardships. But the main key of the difference between communism and Christianity is we're not just giving money to people that are breaking the law and sinning and not paying back in. We should help each other equally as human beings. You have a service, I have a service. We give each other that service and we exchange some sort of content or necessity or something like that. We need to have contingency plans like this set up with each other, or we're gonna be screwed. Okay? We're gonna be screwed. God's made it very clear. He's not coming down to save us from this. He's doing this. Okay? We have to find a way to survive it. It says that all throughout the Bible. Read the end of the New Testament, read in Daniel, read in Leviticus, and you'll see it tells you we're supposed to be prepared for this. We're supposed to be ready for this. This is what's going to bring the difference between the righteous, moral person and the one that's going to hear "Welcome home, son," and the one that's going to have his face turned and hear "I never knew you." And I really don't want to be that person. I want to cry thinking about being that person. I won't lie. I fear God. I've been to tears thinking about what Jesus went through for me many times. Many times. I had a fucking stroke, as you all know. I had a stroke because I don't know. I was praying. I want to say a devil, a demon, whatever, told me I was going to hell, and it convinced me so bad that I was going to hell that I had a freaking stroke, bro. Come on. I fear God. I genuinely fear God. I know God is real. Do I get humanized in my brain sometimes and get mad at God and scream at him? Absolutely I do. Absolutely I do. Almost every day. Almost every day I scream at my father. I don't have anyone else to scream at. My father is the only one I have. I live with my father. That's who I have in my life. I've lost everybody due to the FBI, and nobody wants to get involved with someone that's getting investigated by the government or is on a terrorist list. I went on a date last week, and that was literally 2 days after we went on the date. She called me and said, "Hey, I was, what do they call it, stalking you online." Guess what one of the first things that popped up was? I'm on the extreme terror list for what I do. I've never actually hurt anybody in my life, like, for no reason. But I'm on a terror list because I speak at school board meetings. Parents call me and I go speak at school board meetings. I just posted a video earlier today. Those tyrants, they were trying to come up and tell me that I couldn't do what I was doing, but I was already prepared. I actually had the ordinance I told them to go get. I actually had a copy of that ordinance in my truck. An hour before they pulled up, one of the county commissioners was literally standing in that spot waving a flag with me, Stephen Deutsch. I was going to bring that up if the cops ended up coming out there. Now, there's another occasion where these exact same people tried to do the exact same thing. I wasn't as calm in this one because the officer completely treated me like a piece of shit when I was the one that called law enforcement on the county because they were out there. Like I said, cite me. If they don't cite you when you tell them to cite you, there's no law against you being there. They just don't want you there because somebody was butthurt by you being there and they complained about it. A lot of people tell me I should comply. No. Nope. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Everybody, oh, you should just let them do what they're doing. And you don't know the law if that's the case, if you say that. You don't know the law. You don't know what constitutional rights are. You don't believe in the Constitution if you believe that you should just bow down to someone that says they have authority over you. Because nobody on this planet has authority over you. You understand that, right? Nobody on this planet has authority over you. Before you say God does, God's not on this. Well, I guess he is, but God is everything and everywhere. So, no human on this planet has authority over you guys, over me. It just doesn't work like that. And when you get a job that's meant for a civil servant, and you take that job for a paycheck instead of for what it's meant for, to be a civil servant, to serve and protect, to protect the community, and all you do is harass law-abiding citizens, and you let criminals go, I don't think you're worth very much. I know, if you know me from my other social media before I got canceled, this is complete opposite of how I normally talk. I've always backed the cops. I've always backed Ron DeSantis. I've done huge rallies for both groups. But when I do investigations and I find out things that are contrary to what these people tell me, you know, I just can't back you anymore. Especially when you come and you outright basically try to hurt me, you know. And you're trying, they brought freaking a mental health evaluator here to try to get me put in a loony box because I was speaking out at school board meetings. All my school board meetings are posted on here. I'm trying to get more followers, guys. I'm back. I would like to get better content out here. If I get 4,000 followers back, I can get monetized. Then we can get better content. Then we can get more followers again. And then we can blow up. And all of us can stay correlated. Listen, when I'm monetized and I'm making money, I get to travel around and speak with you guys. That's the whole point of why I do this. I don't do this for the money. I do this to meet you. Okay? I do this to correlate with my fellow Americans. That's it. Because nobody wants to get out in the real world and do stuff with each other anymore. I have to be very careful, though. It's hard to trust people, you know? I've had people come meet me and then the FBI show up 2 days later. I've had people call me out for jobs, and specifically to call me out and call the cops on me while I'm there. These people suck, bro. They mess with your livelihood, they mess with your children, they mess with everything that's good and sacred in this world. Do what you want to do, but don't push it on my kids. Do what you want to do, don't push it on me. If you want to sin, and you want to secure yourself a place in the moral realm for all eternity, that's up to you. You know, that's on you. I'll pray for you, and I'll say you need to find Jesus, but I can't force you to find Jesus, and I can't force you to be a good person. I can't force you to not hate me either. I don't care if you hate me. You can talk all the shit you want to me. Just don't take my livelihood away because I stand up for my religion. You're standing up for your religion and your cult. So don't, you know, bring violence on me just because I care about what's going on in my world, and I don't want to see people living in the streets shitting on sidewalks and the whole world smell like a bathroom. You know, this is not a third world country, but that's what it's turning into. California is already a third world country. New York's already, see, man, people used to think about California and New York and they would think America, right? Now they think California and New York and they think, I wouldn't want to live there ever. Those would be the worst places to be in when this goes down. First of all, there's not a water source one in New York. You understand that, right? Not that you can drink from anyway. Nowhere. You have to leave New York to get water. It's going to be bad for people in the cities. People in big suburbs. It's going to be bad for you. Especially if this whole bird flu thing that's going around now, thousands of sills are dying. I forget exactly where it was. I'll go back through and look that up and post it for you. The avian bird flu, by the way. 10 years ago, we did gain-of-function research in America to turn the avian bird flu into being able to affect mammals, which is, this would be a real pandemic, by the way. we would all have to separate from each other for at least a year for this thing to. The good thing about a 60% kill rate virus, a very aggressive virus, is it dies out a lot faster. It doesn't just re-affect. But the thing is what are the medical projections? If that does end up coming through, which it looks like it might be now, because it went from one case to thousands of cases of mammals dying from it at this point. That would suck, bro. Like I said, it makes you bleed from your eyes, your ears. It's a horrible death. It's a horrible death. It's a blood asphyxiation, basically. That's horrible. And you're gonna die from it if you get it. There's no cure for it either, by the way. There's no way to stop it. There's nothing. It's just gonna happen. It's just gonna blow through. If that does happen, I'm not saying that is. This is a hypothetical situation because it's one of the things they're putting out there right now. It's a hypothetical situation. But these banks are not a hypothetical situation. Think about it. In the past month, Wells Fargo has dropped the ball on their customers twice now. And they're saying, oh, nothing's wrong. I don't believe that. I believe something's going on with Wells Fargo too. You know, the Wells Fargo in my town still hasn't opened back up. You can only use their ATM. They still haven't opened back up. The Bank of Americas are all closed around here except for one. In the past 2 years, we've been watching all the banks in our town shut down. I never thought about that until just now. We've systematically been watching all the banks in our town shut down. Well, is that a setup for something big? You all need to understand, if the banks do all collapse, that will literally throw us back to the 1800s. Okay? But literally, the early 20th century. Because, first of all, the bank collapses, the small business didn't get their payroll. Nobody got paid. None of their bills got paid. The restaurant down the road, nobody went to eat because they didn't have any money. So now that business is going to collapse because those, you know, it's a trickle-down effect. Even if this doesn't, everything doesn't collapse, I'm on the same property right now where the no warrant entry was done. I've been harassed a couple times since then. Anyway, if everything doesn't collapse, and it's just what's happening now, because two banks have collapsed and we're on the way to a third, okay, that they've reported. That in itself, the amount of money that SVB owed out to small businesses for payroll and stuff like that, that's now not going to get paid, will cause an effect on society. It just will. Will we see that effect? Maybe not. But once media starts seeing effects of these things happening, and the Babylon Bee, by the way, is backed by SVB Bank. A lot of media corporations are backed by SVB Bank. And they have no answers as of yet to what's going to happen. Just a lot of gaslighting on the TV. They're just telling their customers, sorry, we'll try to get you access. The government's telling them. SVB Bank's done. They're just like, sorry, your money's gone. Do you understand? When you sign your contract from the bank, you sign away all your rights to your money. You know that, right? All the money you put in the bank, they literally own it. You give it to them. You sign a clause in every single bank that states if they go bankrupt, they don't have to give you any money. It's in the clause, so they can't be held liable because it's in the clause of the bank that you signed. So remember that. Bitcoin shooting through the roof. That's the plan. So either you're going to be ready or you're not. I'd prefer if you and your family survive this. It's going to be real hard to get certain foods soon. This is the year that all of these trickle-down effects from what's been going on since Biden came into office are going to go into effect. We haven't seen Biden's economy yet. That's what's coming right now. It's been slowly trickling down. This is going to get worse. 2023 into 2024 is going to be bad. As you can see from the banks already coming down. And I told you when SVB went down, I said, hey man, over the weekend, another one or two banks are going to collapse. And sure enough, another couple banks collapsed over the weekend. So This isn't something that's just going to go away, and we need to be prepared. And I would love, berserkerpatriotstore.com, I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to be able to stay in contact with you. We can exchange information where we can find a way to be on the same radio frequencies if technology does go down or if something happens, and we can stay in contact with each other. Listen, I love you guys. I really hope you have a blessed evening. It just dawned on me I've been on here for almost 2 hours, and I haven't even eaten dinner yet. So, in the name of Jesus, I pray for forgiveness for me and everybody out here, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. In the name of Jesus, I ask for healing, understanding, kindness, a little bit of fire in the bellies of the Americans out here, Lord. I ask you to bring understanding and knowledge and acceptance, and to pull people out of the transition of denial and believing that we are where we used to be and that we need to stand together as Christians. Lord, I beg that you bring us together as one people. In your name, amen. Thank you guys. Have a very blessed night. Be safe. I don't know what just happened there. I just want to put out there, you telling someone, if you vote for toxic Trump again, there's a special place in hell for that. You're a horrible individual for saying that. That's a horrible thing to say to somebody, by the way. You will be judged for saying that. That's a horrible thing to say, because God has proven time and time again that he backs Trump 100%. 100%. All the churches back Trump. They don't back DeSantis. So, don't bring God into a political fight. That's stupid. Please don't ever do that again on my channel. I'll have to block you. That's one thing I don't tolerate, is people talking bad about God and telling somebody there's a special place in hell for voting for someone that literally made it to where you have the freedoms you have right now, and put the loopholes in that are stopping the Biden administration from doing the shit that they could be doing worse. Don't ever put politics and God in the same sentence for me, please. Because I'll never say that Jesus is going to tell you something's going to happen bad to you because of your political beliefs. That's horrible and that's evil. Have a good night, guys.